Family Violence Prevention Week, and we're focusing on strong beginnings, resiliency in the early years. And we're really excited to have Meagan Drummond here. Meagan, why don't you introduce yourself? And
Sure, yeah.
your position.
I would love to. My name is Meagan Drummond, and I work with the Early Childhood Development Association. I'm Special Projects Coordinator. So Early Childhood Development Association is a nonprofit member-based association, and we're committed to quality childcare on PEI. And so we have early childhood educators as our members, and we help support those childcare educators and promote quality childcare.
Great. And so can you talk about the role quality childcare has in fostering resilience in the early years?
Absolutely. I believe quality childcare is essential to all children, and especially children who experience childhood trauma or family violence at home. Research shows us that early interventions can really help children build the skills and resiliency they need to cope and adapt to adversity later on in life. And quality childcare can really be there to help and support that.
So, and it helps all kids, of course, too.
Absolutely, yes, every child.
So can you talk about the learning opportunities offered for those who've been working in the field for some time, and maybe focus in on some of that training that's ongoing around family violence impacts?
Absolutely, yeah. So ECDA recognizes how essential early childhood education is in early years. And we recognize that there's ongoing and ever-changing research done on trauma and resiliency for children. And so we believe it's really important to have the best up-to-date information for early childhood educators, because early childhood educators are lifelong learners. They want to provide the best care for children. They want children to have the best start in life. And so we provide 80 to 100 hours of professional learning opportunities a year, and really focus that on child development and how we can build resiliency and social and emotional skills for children in their early years. But we also focus on the adults too, because we know if we care for ourselves, we can care for our most vulnerable population, who are the children that are so important.
Of course, of course. So can you give some examples of what that looks like? So whenever, what are some behaviors you could see in children in a center that maybe is misread sometimes if the training wasn't as stringent?
Absolutely. So we know as early childhood educators that children, there's always an emotion behind a behavior from a child. So a child could be completely shut down and ignoring everything that you are asking of that child. They're not doing that to push your button or bother you. What they're really trying to do is communicate a need that they have. And so if a child has experienced trauma, and even a child who's never experienced trauma, they don't know how to communicate those needs the best way. And so that is on the adult to help them build those skills, those social and emotional skills, how to communicate, and how to get those needs met in a healthy way.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so what are some programs or alternative programs that are available for families that may be struggling?
Sure. So through the Early Childhood Development Association, we have a program called Handle with Care. And so I think it's an extremely important program to talk about, especially during Family Violence Prevention Week. Handle with Care is a national program, and so we administer it through the ECDA. It is a program for parents and caregivers based on the mental health, the social and emotional development of children and the caregivers who care for them. And so it's a really non-judgmental program where it's strength-based, so it works with the parents and the caregivers meets them where they're at, and it helps build their self-esteem, their confidence, and their understanding of healthy relationships. So we don't know what we don't know until we know it, right? We do better when we know better. And Handle with Care is a super important program in that way. It really helps build parents' self-esteem and confidence in parenting skills, meeting children where they're at, and understanding them in a relationship.
Yeah, because parents still need supports too.
Absolutely.
And it's tough years.
Absolutely,
to be parenting when everything is is working really well. It's still a really challenging time.
I can attest to that.
For lots of adults. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's where quality childcare comes into. can be such a huge support to parents to have that quality childcare as a secondary caregiver to the children, right? Parents are primary, but those educators are so important to help parents understand where children are coming from. We are the experts in child development, and we can really share that knowledge with parents and help them understand.
Excellent. Can you talk about some more learning opportunities that the ECDA provides for early childhood educators that can really support this side of working with children who've experienced some childhood adversity?
Absolutely. So right now we have a pilot project going on through the ECDA and in partnership with the Department of Education and Early Years, and it's called the pyramid model. And so what they are working on is they have a team of educators, mentors, who are going into centers and working with one educator. And they're really helping that educator understand social and emotional development and how it works in a classroom of children, and really focusing on enhancing that educator's practice to build it up. And then we hope to see the ripple effect throughout the center and then across the sector of building up those classrooms and building up that positive interactions of social emotional development. So that's one of our initiatives. We offer a lot of professional learning opportunities throughout the year where educators can learn about social emotional development and resiliency. Last year, we had a certificate program where a group of educators did a learning series, and it was called Building Resiliency in Infants and Young Toddlers. And so during that learning series, we really dove deep into the brain chemistry and how infants and toddlers are affected by toxic stress and what the role of educators are in that and how we can help offset that toxic stress in early years.
What would parents be looking for if they saw, or others, what would they notice in a young child who's experienced toxic stress?
Sure. So you can see it in a child by a child not responding to you, or a child showing really extreme behaviors. So, you know, yelling or screaming, or and those kind of actions.
Yeah. I can see why that would be jarring for some.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's really on the adult. It's the adult's responsibility to stay calm when a child is showing extreme behaviors. So shutting down or screaming, yelling, hitting, running, those kind of behaviors, it's on the adult to stay calm. We want to meet their chaos with our calm. And that is a lot harder to do than say. But that is why we offer all of these professional learning opportunities to educators, so then educators can pass that knowledge on to parents. And so, yeah, our educators, you know, in a classroom, they might experience multiple emotions at a time. And it's really on the educator to know their reaction, understand where they're coming from when they feel those emotions, stay calm, help a child calm their nervous system, and then work through the healthy ways to communicate what that child is really trying to get.
That's wonderful. So can you talk about, or is there anything else you wish more people knew?
Sure. I think something that's really important for more people to know is how children right from infancy can be affected by connections and communication between adults and the children. So even in infancy, if we are responsive to those infants and we communicate with them in a healthy way, they take that with them, because every communication, every interaction with an adult builds those connections and builds that resiliency that we really want to see in children.
Yeah, connections are huge.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're the cornerstone to everything.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks so much, Meagan.
Thank you.
And you can find this and other videos on our family violence prevention website, stopfamilyviolence.pe.ca. Thanks so much.
Oh, thank you so much.